Yeah, it's anything to do with the money. Maybe Sean wanted to buy a new church. Are you leaving? Okay. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you can leave it in here. It's not like
No. I
everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. It is time for another ep of the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order Show. I'm your host, Jay LaBeouf, and we've got a very festive Nate Haskell sitting across from me. What's going on, Nate?
I'm good, Jay. You're gonna have to, like I told you earlier, you're gonna have to be the designated driver on this one. It was a close friend of mine and roommate's birthday this afternoon, so him and I got together, and there might have been some drinks had, and it's a marathon, not a sprint, Jay, and I need to teach myself that.
Drink. God, you drink. That is so atrocious. How dare you? We are a good, proper wrestling show.
Yeah.
We do none of that drinking on this show, unless it's like Stone Cold style. But
fair enough.
Drinking. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to keep it real short and sweet. We know everybody is trying to get their holiday on. I'm trying to get my holiday on, just like the rest of you. So we're going to keep it short. We're going to talk a little double or nothing. We're going to talk about some really sad news, double whammy this week in sad news with Shad Gaspard and Hana Kimura. And we're going to wrap up with a little Shayna Baszler. And, of course, we're going to shout out to all of you in the chat. So make sure you are subscribed to Illuminerdi and all of us, but we'll give you all that information again if this is your first time joining us. So Nate, AEW had their pay-per-view this weekend, big Double or Nothing pay-per-view. There was a lot. Folks were looking forward to seeing Mike Tyson. We got Cody Rhodes. We got to talk about a little Britt Baker, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. AEW, I saw on social media, was getting so much positive feedback for the pay-per-view. What do you think it is that AEW is doing right that is just keeping this momentum going?
It's just, it's the fact that it's different. I just think that the E has had, and I love all those guys, and I just think they've had the same handful of people on top, whether it's in every division, whether it's the heavyweight, the tag, the ladies, and AEW, it's just new. It's new and it's different. And I think a perfect example is now I didn't watch it either. I'd be lying if I said that I did. Not for not wanting to. I couldn't. Listen, everybody, it's pandemic
going on over there. Right?
Yeah. And we don't have we don't have sponsors on this show yet, and dropping $40 or $50 on a pay-per-view with no fans, I don't know, I would feel really ripped off if I didn't like it, and I didn't want to feel that way about the product, because I do enjoy the product. I'm sorry, I digress. Back to my original thing. I think what AEW does right is look at all the people that were in that ladder match. You've got big giant dudes. You've got little dudes. You've got a tag team. It's just the diversity of all the competitors, I think, makes it a show that's just more fun.
Mm-hmm. That stadium race that they had going on with that, same thing with me. $50 is kind of a lot to be dropping on a pay-per-view during these pandemic times. Folks still got to worry about regular stuff. But I have seen some of the highlights, and what I was really amused by, just the whole calamity of what was going on with this stadium match. You got Matt Hardy getting dunked in water. You got folks wearing football uniforms. People just acting a pure fool. People doing moonsaults off of goalposts. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy and calamity. Drop us in the comments what you thought about the stadium match, but I think that's going to be the move for AEW. It's fresher, it's newer, and they can do all this wild, crazy stuff that WWE can't really do right now. And that's
they had blood. They do blood, and that's it's kind of like I listened to Eric Bischoff's podcast, and he kind of goes, listen, when you're competing with somebody in the same industry, you can either be the same, or you can be different, and And that's what they are. I feel that they're different enough to where it's super interesting. And Master Shake in the chat, his real name is Pumps. Yes, like the shoe. He texted me. He went out of his way to text me that stadium match was one of the best matches he's ever seen in his life. He enjoyed it that much, and I couldn't believe it. And then I started to slowly see the highlights, and I was like, wow, they really made this super interesting. Like Hangman Page was out there on a horse.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Dude, did you see them dudes Northern Light suplex 100 yards?
Man.
Like over and over and over. Like it was pretty incredible.
They said let's just do everything. I mean, hey, we got time. We don't have a crowd. Let's just do all the stuff we practice in like your mother's living room with your kids. Let's just do it all. But on a professional basis. So, for AEW fans, for pro wrestling fans, that is the move. I'm not advocating anybody look for any type of illegal streaming or anything of that sort out there. But, if you can find it and watch it, then I suggest you would. And I will follow suit along with you. So kudos to the good folks at AEW. And
sorry, one more thing. Mm-hmm. We touched on this last week. I remember we were talking about how they had too many legends managing young dudes, right? We talked about that last week.
We sure did.
And they, again this week, with Taz managing Brian Cage. So now they've got Taz, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Jake Roberts.
They need to just go on and pull out, like, who's one of the, give Jimmy Hart. No, he's still kind of under contract with WWE.
Yeah.
Just find somebody super duper old and just, pull them out. Put them out there. Hey, you need a job. Who wants to manage?
Exactly. Watch kind of what it's like. It's like, oh, you were released from the WWE? Come on over here and manage.
You got to do the meme like the Rick James, like the...
Yeah. Exactly.
AEW. Come over to AEW. So, again, kudos to them. Going to keep track up with them and see what's happening. Congratulations to Dustin Rhodes. He is the champion. Congratulations to Shida, who beat Nyla Rose. So there's a champ there. Mike Tyson bringing out the little piece of ass belt That belt was looking real bubblegum machine. So hopefully we'll put
I was going to ask what you thought.
But the belt was looking like, I don't even have anything near me that looked like that. It just looked like somebody put a quarter and just turned and I was like, here's one.
It almost looked like one of those pennies that you put in the machine and it like spreads it out and puts like a fucking picture on it.
Good. That's good. There's no audience anyway. We don't even spend no money on that.
And it's like, it's like, is that TNT? Did TNT go away from that like yellow-ish like that yellow and red kind of slanted logo?
Uh-huh.
Did they go away from that? So now it's just literally just block letters, just TNT.
Just keep it simple, keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
So, on that note, it would stand for them to, bring the pay-per-view down to about good $34.95. We might be able to handle the $34.95.
I'm telling you, I would have bought it.
At least until the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, unfortunately, we got to change the energy a little bit of, bless you, of what happened this week. Two very, very sad stories to report, starting first with Shad Gaspard. For those of you who are watching the show, you probably have been following the story and knew that he was here in California and was out swimming with his young son and got caught. And I would assume it's like a riptide or something there on the beach, and was able to get responders to save his son, but unfortunately got swept out to sea, and his body was later found on the beach. Really just so tragic, so sad. He's so fit and in shape, but that rip current, the sea is just so strong and so powerful and so unknown to us because we live on land. But Shad, that's just so sad. I just can't think of a sadder way to lose someone.
Oh yes, I know, and it's just tugs at your heartstrings to know that he made sure that he had his kids safe, like when they came out, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that each lifeguard tower, they're not being manned right now because there's nobody at the beach. So had there been more lifeguards, like, listen, he probably shouldn't have been swimming out there. And he was, and it is what it is. You're going to do what you're going to do. It's just a bummer because had they waited when the beach is really, really open, there would have been more lifeguards and maybe we wouldn't have lost Shad had there been multiple guys able to go out there and get him. But yeah, it's, Crime Time definitely, had its place in WWE history for none other than, they were kind of, I don't know if groundbreaking is the right term, but they came around in like 05 or 06, something like that, when there wasn't a lot of, was there really any other African American tag teams that were being put in the light that they were being put in? They were clicked up with John Cena. Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they really, and then they left for a little bit and came back, and I enjoyed those dudes' work, man. They were, from a professional wrestling standpoint, the dude got to the big dance and held his own. It's just a shame that, we lost him so early, and you never know.
I'd seen a little rumor floating around that they were thinking about bringing them back to put them in something with the Street Profits.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's just so sad all around.
Yeah.
And, our thoughts and prayers and good vibrations and all that go to the Gaspard family. He's survived by his wife and his son, obviously, and just sending them all the good vibes, all the good energy, and, keeping them in our thoughts. And also, this is just, if Shad Gaspard wasn't sad enough.
Right, yeah. We get
sadder.
Literally a double or nothing.
It's just the most awful way. Hana Kimura is no longer with us. She took her own life, and following the news, reports are coming out that she was just having some difficulty with online trolls and bullies and just people talking to her crazy, and it just took its toll on her, and she took her own life. I've seen a few messages from some WWE superstars and other people making mention of her passing. And what do you think is the responsibility if any? I know a lot of it's personal responsibility if it's a matter of bullying and just being rude and disrespectful.
Sure.
But you know, as an entity like her wrestling outfit or any professional wrestling outlet, at what point do you step in and say, look, you fans need to chill, or we're going to have to put some different
Yeah. I mean, is
there any way to even police that?
There's really not, because you can't shut down all of the trolls. Right. And, you know, at least, you know, especially on Twitter. Twitter is the Wild West. You could say anything and do anything you want on Twitter, and if somebody blocks you, you could just open up another account under a fake ass name. It's like, at least with Instagram, they have like a few guidelines, but it's a shame, because if they come out and say something, I think that'll make some, you know, D-bag fans want to do it more. They're like, oh, I wasn't bullying her then, but now that they don't want me to bully her, let me just hop on there under an alias and do some, you know what I mean? I just think, I think it's harder, especially for the younger generation of just entertainers in general, when it comes, whether you're an actor, a musician, a wrestler, whatever. They grew up with social media. They grew up with all of these things. So to tell them, just don't look at it. They're not built like that. You know what I mean? Like, because you hear a lot of like Joe Rogan or a lot of actors or whatever that are you know, I'm 40 or whatever. And it's like, we are right on the cusp where we got it a little later in life. So we understand the pitfalls of it. Like, I couldn't have imagined going to high school with Instagram and Facebook and I would, like, you couldn't turn it off. Like, if you had a shitty day at school, you could go home and that was a wrap. Now you have a shitty day at school, you go home, you got to hop on social media and you hear about it all, you know what I mean? Like, so to tell, you know, Joe Rogan, or like I said, some of these guys, they just go, I don't look at my ads. I just don't look at them. Mm-hmm. And some people are able to do that and some people aren't. And when you're this younger, you know, where the social media can give you so many accolades and so much good that you want it. It's like a drug. But then when people start being assholes and start giving the bad, you have to be able to tune that out. And some people just aren't able to do it. And it's really, really sad. And it's a problem. It's mental health is a real issue, man.
Real issue. And you know, those are the first things that are being cut. You know, anything that's substantial that can help anyone. I mean, taking it all the way to the root, back to like to after school programs and, you know, things for young people to get into is during those times when they don't have those opportunities, when all that behavior is learned. Right. So, you know, fans, I mean, hopefully no one who's watching our show is that type of a fan.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think so.
Or you hear our show or hear our voices, be good to people. Be kind to people. Yeah. Even if you don't like something about their wrestling style, because remember, you don't know these people. These are real, living, breathing human beings. And just think of someone coming up to your job like, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Right. Could you imagine? They're holding signs saying they want you to die.
You suck, you die.
You're stocking shelves. You're like, wait a minute.
I mean, people are really trash, and humanity, do better. Just do better. Just chill out, relax. You know, the gift and the curse of the internet. Our times were so much simpler back then, but now we are here, and all we can do is hope to move forward and be better. So be better.
And I don't want to be that old head either that's just like, oh, this internet is ruining, you know, because that's not the case. The internet is the most incredible thing that's ever been invented in humankind in terms of technology. But it's just like you said, it's just like they don't really have like, it's just everything is just so out there and in your grill all the time. It's just sometimes it just gets overwhelming, and you have to have a very good foundation of people in your life. You have to, you know what I mean? If you don't have a good family life, you got to have good friends. And the problem is that some people maybe don't have that they can't, you know, it's like I do hip hop or whatever, and I do music and I've gotten some hate stuff before, like, oh, you're trash or you're whatever. But sometimes you got to just consider the source. It's like you go and then you click on somebody's thing and they've got 3 followers in one post, and one of them's their dog. And it's just like, dude, you don't know, what the fuck do you know about rap? Like, just shut up. And it's the same thing about wrestling. Like, these people that go and shit on these wrestlers all the time, it's like, dude, if you got in the ring and tried to do a flat back, those dudes were taking suplexes on the grass yesterday. It's like, you have no idea what these dudes go through, and it's just to be overtly like, listen, I love to heckle when I go to wrestling. That's my favorite thing, to go to sporting events and wrestling events and heckle. But there's a way to do it professionally, if that's a word, or like funny, like be funny, as opposed to just like, oh, you suck a bag of dicks. Like, bro, shut up. Like, that's not funny. But like, you know, if you say, you know, yell something funny about the move they just did or whatever you want to do, like for instance, one day the WWE came to Staples Center and Miz was out there, and this was like 4 years ago, and he was in like his full on height, like Metro, you know, fashion dude, just got his e-show, and it was in LA and it was a house show, and I yelled that you look like you're from Silver Lake. Now, if you're from LA, you get that joke. Like, that's funny. And everybody started laughing, and he turned around at me and he went, you look like you're from Silver Lake, or whatever. Like, you're joking around. But like, to just go out there and just be a dick to be a dick, that's not funny. That's not fun. And there's kids around, and sometimes people put that stuff on those sites where kids can read it, and it's just, people just have to be able to police themselves, unfortunately. And and the internet is the new signs. I was watching some WWE from '98 the other day. You couldn't see, there was every 3 feet was a sign. Now there's not a whole lot of signs. You know why? Because people can get their point across on the internet. Now the new sign is going on somebody's social media and adding them.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell him, man, exactly. we need these guys back.
Oh yeah, exactly. They were just, it's like, if you really are that passionate about it, go to Michael's, buy a poster board, get a Sharpie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so easy to type something that you don't think about it 30 seconds later. You know what I mean? But if you're going to go to the point of making a sign, you better really want to mean it.
Be creative. At least, go for something other than the low-hanging fruit. Right. Be clever with it. Like, my grandma does a better suplex of her teeth into her bowl. Like, be
something funny. Exactly. Be creative and not an asshole, I guess, is the thing. Like, and the bad guys want you to boo them. They want you to boo them.
The better. The more boos, the better.
At least, creative about it, I guess.
These people suck. Yeah. Don't be a trash. So this is your message from the Illuminerdi World Wrestling Order. Make the concerted effort to not be a trash human. If you go into the next week today, it's never too late to start over. Woo-hoo, Memorial Day weekend. It's never too late to start over and not be a trash human being. Yes. For $3.99 a month, sponsor the Illuminerdi World Wrestling Order show, and we can tell you how not to be a trash human being. We will send
help you not be trash
and reminders, and we'll send you little memes with signs of telling you how you cannot be a trash human being. So before you head out to your next wrestling show, just make sure that you're not being a trash. You can criticize them, because God knows I talk my fair share of crap about Lana. Lana blocked me. Lana didn't have time for the shenanigans. And all I did, and the funny part about that is, all I did was repeat something she said herself. She was being just real, I won't say the word. Yeah. It rhymes with punty. Exactly.
Got it. Uh-huh.
Exactly. And I repeated something she said on the show. And I said, like, wow, Lana, what a bitch, or something like that. And honey, she blocked me with the quickness. And I said, oh, okay. Well, Lana, you boo. Do you, boo. You still can't wrestle. But I'm not going to be a trash human being to Lana, because she's a good human being.
You could meet Lana and really like her, and she could have just been having a bad day.
I ain't going to go that far.
All right. I was trying to take the high road.
Right. I want to go to a show like when we get this back, there'll probably be a show here in LA before WrestleMania. And I'll be like, oh my God, it's Lana. She'll be like, wait a minute, don't I know you?
Yeah, exactly. She has a list of her blocks on her written down on her hand.
She got a list like the list of Jericho. Deandra LaBeouf from Inglewood, California. You said after Total Divas. I'm like, and she'll be like, girl, you said it first. I just repeat what you said.
That's funny.
Take your words from Illuminerdi Wrestling Order. Don't be a trash human being.
Exactly.
Speaking of not being a trash human being, we'll shift into our last topic, Vince McMahon and Shayna Baszler. So there's been reports that, and we've discussed it here when we did our pre-show for Money in the Bank. I think, Nate, you and I both predicted that Shayna would be the Money in the Bank champion, and for not. Neither was she the Royal Rumble champion. So it looks like Vince cannot get behind a Shayna Baszler push, and I don't understand that. Why? What is it about Shayna? What do you think about Shayna being that top heel, and why do you think Vince can't get on board with that?
I don't know. And it's like when we were doing the Money in the Bank predictions. If she's in a match, I'm picking her. I love her. She's believable. She's more believable than any other girl on that roster. And that includes Ronda Rousey. I don't even care. Shayna Baszler looks like she would fuck you up for nothing, for cutting her line and catering. But
you're not grits, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and this is me just being. I mean, I'm gonna honestly answer your question. I think it's because Vince doesn't think she's attractive. And it's an awful thing to say. But he doesn't. Look at even the heel chicks. Look at what Becky when she was a heel, or when Charlotte she's a heel, or Sasha or Bailey. Like, they're still quote unquote like Shayna Baszler isn't your classic pinup Shayna Baszler, she's pretty. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with her, but she's not that typical WWE hair extensions, breast implants. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't have one of those two, then you got to have like the bomb face, or you got to have, you know what I mean? And it's terrible. But I think he's afraid to make her the face of the women's division.
I could not have said that any better myself. I agree with you 100%, because I thought that, and I looked back and I looked at the history, the recent history of female heels. And like you mentioned, like the Sasha Banks and the Becky Lynch and the Charlotte, right. And all of them were attractive.
Sure.
And I started to think of, has there been a time like Shayna's like regular girl attractive, like
exactly.
With her hair and does her makeup? I'm sure she's a good looking woman. She's obviously fit.
Right.
And I mean, I was trying to think of a recent heel that was more for like, please don't come at my neck in the comments, because I am 45. I cannot keep up with all these new terminologies that the kids have these days. If she was not, she's not a, what's the term? She's a cis heterosexual woman who is not particularly feminine. What she does outside of the ring is her business. I'm not here to talk about that. I don't give a damn about none of that.
It's almost like asexual.
Exactly.
She comes off of that. She doesn't come off as like a lesbian, but she also doesn't come off as like, a super feminine chick. And I think, and it's like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think you're right. I think that's what they see.
It is. It's completely what they see. Because, I mean, look at the other current heels in the company. You've got Zelina Vega, who is ridiculous.
Gorgeous.
Hot to death. Yeah. You've got Bailey. I don't like Bailey's hair. Bailey's hair is looking a little bit...
Karenish. It's a little Karenish.
It's looking a little helmet, but, I mean, it's still Bailey. Bailey got a big booty. So she's going to look good in her little wrestling gear. To Sasha, to... Even Asuka, when they were doing their little turn as her and Kairi Singh were kind of like a heel tag team. But I just feel like...
Oh, Dana Brooke.
Oh, yeah, Dana. Or even they have the little lesbian storyline going now with Sonya Deville, who's a real-life lesbian. But she is a hot woman, whether you're a man or a woman who is into her. She's still a hot-looking woman. So I think it's just a little low-key homophobia. I'm going to just say what it is. I think Vince is not feeling it. because she's not sexy, she's not half naked, she doesn't have big tits like you said, and he just ain't getting behind that. But the joke's on him. He could pull in a whole new demographic. He could pull in the fans in Florida because they had the mass shooting at the gay club. Right. You know, let me not even take it that far, because I don't even know that woman's history like that to put all that on it.
But our point is getting across that she's not your typical cookie cutter, and it's almost like Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
What had to, the WWE universe had to fucking stand on its head to get them to put the belt on Daniel Bryan.
Right.
And he's like 5'8". He looks like a goat. Like, he's not your typical handsome dude either. I mean, listen, when DB cuts his hair and trims his beard up, you know, guys, he's regular dude. He's regular dude attractive. And
he really is.
Yeah, he's not Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a goddamn matinee idol. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey.
Right. But I think because Vince is, and he's always been, like, look at the, you know, Sonny and Sable and Terry, like, he has a thing, like, and now he's just like, well, goddamn, pal, now the chicks are attractive and they can work. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I just think that's, I mean, I guess Nia Jax, like, he had Nia Jax in there as a heel, but
again, look at Nia, though. She's a plus-size woman, but she's freaking gorgeous. Like, she is
exactly. She used to be a model, right? Like, that was her, like, yeah, right.
It's like you can be you can be outside of the quote-unquote norm, but you still have to be hella fine. You could be a lesbian, but you got to be hella fine. You could be a gay man, but you could gotta be a hella big, giant, big brolic.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
You've got to be kind of like I don't want to say an anti-hero, but you know, it's got to be that juxtaposition. Right. You can't be a regular person. Imagine if Drake Maverick was like a gay guy.
Right.
He would have been up out of there. You know, let's just keep it.
Right. He's just not, yeah, he doesn't, that would have, I mean, what's his face? His name's escaping me. The millions of dollars. What was his name that came out as gay? The littler one. Not Titus O'Neil, but
not Leo Rush.
No. Jesus.
I can't wait. Forgive us. It's Memorial Day.
Yeah, you're going to have to forgive me. But anyway, the first WWE wrestler that came out as gay anyway, because he got hit by TMZ at the LAX airport. But even he was a good-looking dude and could work and was gay, and they were just like, all right, and he couldn't even survive.
Yep. So I hope that, you know, Vince gets past that. And, I mean, it's so disappointing because I look at when they were letting Sonya have her WrestleMania, I think it was WrestleMania, or Royal Rumble, or one of those matches where that she and Mandy were in, and she came out to the ring and she had the big rainbow flag hanging out the back pocket, and it was such a big deal. It's like, don't make it like a caricature. Right. If you want to be totally inclusive of everyone in the WWE, that means even the women who are not in your calendar in your garage, they get to be champ too. And the men who are not gigantic like Roman and Seth and have, you know, slick man buns, like, they get to be champ too sometimes, as long as they've got the charisma. So I hope
Darren Young. I had to look it up.
Darren Young.
That was him. Darren Young. Yes.
So I hope Shayna gets her push because she really is talented. She really is a badass. So what better way to put the belt on a real heel, a real female heel? Like, look at hell, Baron Corbin been dressing like the damn valet for the last 2 years, and he is a super killer heel.
You know who I just realized now? You know who the man version of Shayna Baszler is? It's Samoa Joe.
You're damn right.
Exactly. That dude is awesome.
Amazing.
That dude is an unbelievable heel. He's an unbelievable worker. He can cut a promo. He's looked like he's pissed off all the time, much like Shayna Baszler. And he couldn't even get like title shots. He couldn't they couldn't. They're just afraid. They're afraid to put they need to put belts on real heels, and I don't mean fucking Brock Lesnar. Yeah. That's not a real heel. That's an MMA dude that acts like an asshole, and the only reason you give him the belt is because he's an MMA guy and he's believable. But like, what happened to when like when my man Sergeant Slaughter was the champion for like 6 months or a year because he teamed up with Iraq during the Gulf War. Sergeant Slaughter was like 48 years old, but he was a believable heel, and he could
7 years old when he wrestled.
Yeah, and he could pass as a heel. It's like, putting the belt on, Macho Man, and when he was a bad guy against Hulk Hogan. It's like, it's okay with the guys it's just, they're just too concerned with selling ice cream bars and fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's just, unfortunately, I
like badass Shayna Baszler. You need different characters. Please, Vince, I beg you, I implore you, please don't reduce that talented woman into a jobber. Like, please don't do that. I've been seeing a lot of talented people. They had Naomi losing to Dana Brooke the other day. That pissed me off so bad. I'm like, come on, you got Naomi out here jobbing for people.
Yeah.
Right. But
and Naomi's another one. She had the entrance. She was her theme music is fucking dope. I always like her theme music. Yeah, it's really cool. And then she's gone the Alicia Fox way. She's just disappeared. I love her.
It was so funny. She used to tickle me to death.
Yeah, she was great.
I want them to take Naomi, and I want them to make Naomi into what Bayley was before Bayley became a heel. When Bayley came out with all her little sock puppets and all the little stuff, and the little girls loved her. Like, put Naomi back. Put Naomi into something with Bayley. I mean, hell, why not? And then even on top of that, what's made me mad? Speaking of, the trendsetters and Sasha and Charlotte and Becky. Well, now we can't get it. Even more so, we never got our 4-horse storyline with Shayna, Ronda, and the other two girls. We never got our new and old school 4-horse women thing, and that's
just abandoned.
They let that was some easy money.
Yep,
they could have hooked that up.
Totally agree.
United Charlotte and Becky when they were having their thing. Sasha and Bayley are always together. Put them 4 in there. When they brought Shayna over, I thought that was the direction they were going into. Like they were going to Ronda.
Well, because she ran shit in NXT, so then when she comes up, you're just like, okay, dope. Like, that's why who I'm really afraid for is Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
I am they just stay in NXT. Just never leave NXT.
Yeah.
Because even when Adam Cole was in the ring, in the big boy ring, against, it's like the Randy Orton test. Just have somebody stand next to Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. And Adam Cole, he's amazing. I love Adam Cole. He's just in that ring with all those people and all those big giant dudes. He just looks tiny. And I just think Vince is going to see that and he's going to go, nope, not big enough, pal. And Hunter, who is booking NXT, is just like, this guy is like, he's amazing. But I just think Vince does the eye test, and that's just a wrap. It's just it's like, are you a chick? Are you hot? Nope. All right, you're mid card. Are you a guy? Are you tall? Nope. All right, you're mid card. Are you? It's unfortunate.
Yeah. And I don't know. However they fix that disconnect, there's something wrong with that pipeline from the big roster from NXT, and the way it is now. Hell, NXT has their own TV slot. Leave folks there if it's working. Adam Cole, Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. If Velveteen Dream, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You see, Charlotte took her butt back to NXT, so if it ain't broke, don't.
I totally agree.
But I think that's it, Nate.
Yeah.
You got the whole party going on outside your door, and I mean, I got something going outside my door, but it ain't a party, I can assure you. Yeah,
you've got a dog out there ready to, and a whole family.
I mean, it's just so lit over here in the LaBeouf household. It's just so lit. So,
well, hey, I want everybody to have a happy Memorial Day. It's, I think it's loosening it up a little bit out there. So, if you can try to have a little fun during your quarantine, do so, but be safe just a little bit. Just be safe still.
Yes.
I got to kick some people out of my house.
I don't blame you. So we thank you, Nate. Holla your socials so people can follow you and keep up with all your talented shenanigans.
Yes, I am at Nathan Has Skill on all the social medias. I'm most active on Instagram and Facebook. Check it out. Hey, a guy that's on my record label with myself who produced all of my last album, and him and I have been working together for almost a decade now. He's putting out an instrumental little EP called Beers on a Boat. It's free. It's on Bandcamp. His name is Dust Mites. Go check it out. It's like a five song, all instrumental, kind of mellow, just kind of hang out in your backyard kind of vibe. So check that out. It's Dust Mites on Bandcamp. And yeah, check me out, Nathan As Skill. Jay, take it away.
And I am Giandra LaBeouf on all social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, well, don't add me on Facebook. That's just for the old people in the family. But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you are following the Illuminerdi everywhere. The Illuminerdi on Instagram. Subscribe right here. Subscribe. The button is gonna be on this side, I think, of your screen. Subscribe to the Illuminerdi YouTube channel. In addition to me and Nate's gorgeous faces, you can see a whole slew of other shows with a lot of other good-looking, talented people. So make sure you subscribe, and make sure you rock with us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. So with that, everybody have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Don't get too sloshed. And if you do, pass out in your backyard like I do.
Don't drive.
And don't drive Uber, and wear a mask and social distance. And, if somebody don't respect your social distancing, give them a good Heisman.
Also, real quick before we leave, it's funny you mentioned social distancing. I saw a meme the other day that made me laugh, and I think I'm going to mention weed right now because we might have a quasi sponsor. We might be doing some unboxing stuff. But I did see a funny meme that said, "Hey, you smell like weed," and it said, "Yeah, that's because you're not social distancing," and it made me laugh. If you're 6 feet away, I won't smell like weed.
I should not smell like wedding cake to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Back up. So with that, jumping, I hear my neighbors getting it crunk with the fireworks. Everybody, have a great Memorial Day. Eat some barbecue, and good night.
Thank you, guys.